Have you ever had a near-death experience? Or perhaps someone you know may have had a near-death experience? Well, if so, we would love to hear your story and have you as a guest on our podcast. For more information, visit NDE.world. Again, that's NDE.world. We would love to hear your story.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the NDE World Podcast.
And we are live. Welcome back to NDE World Podcast. I'm your host, Ashton Lewis, with my lovely assistant, Miss Daphne Lynn. How's it going, Miss Daphne?
Oh, it's lovely on this cool morning with some cocoa going on. How about you? How are you?
Nice warm cocoa on a nice cool day. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I like the, so that's why we're going to we'll make this segment called the Cocoa Chat. How's that sound?
Cocoa Chat.
Cocoa Chat. And what we'll do on this episode and other episodes based on this concept of the Cocoa Chat is we're going to start bringing real live actual experiences of NDEers, near-death experience. These experiences, we're going to bring them to you. Probably maybe a couple per show. Depending on time, we might could squeeze 3 in, but it's probably going to be in the average of maybe a couple per show. But we're going to start breaking down the elements and taking notes in our own notes from our area of expertise. And as we play these NDEs for you guys, we will actually comment on these. Now, just to let you know, every experience is going to get played. Neither one of us have actually heard, so these are going to come in for the first time. And also, this is the time we are beginning to collect the actual anybody's names, emails, or information if you want to come on the show and be a part of the actual NDE podcast as a guest.
Share your experience with us. We would love to hear it.
We would love to hear it. We read these beautiful stories all the time. So what we are at the point now where we have everything set up, to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and start doing the live interviews. So if you're interested, go ahead and go to NDE.world and just all the information that you need is there. You can actually read about us. You can read, different information and things like that. But you can also listen to different podcasts and different episodes and things like that.
A contact form for
us. And
us.
there is, of course, thank you. The contact form is on there as well. So, but if you're interested, just simply contact us. Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. Oh, let's do it. So we've got today. Let's see. We're gonna go ahead and go into our first NDE today. And then we'll just, we'll take notes and then we'll comment it. How's that sound?
That sounds absolutely wonderful. Yeah.
All right. Everybody, let's roll them.
I suddenly felt myself abruptly leave my body. Even so, it still was gentle. I understood what was happening, although I had never personally felt or experienced leaving my body during a journey. I was very confused. It felt like I was unwillingly pulled from the gentle roller coaster I was on. I believe this is where I stopped breathing, although I did not realize I wasn't breathing. I floated out of my body, wondering where I would end up and why I was there. I floated to an incredible room. I use the word room for lack of a better word because there were no boundaries or defined walls. I was just infinitely there. I felt love and peace like I had never felt before. Everything was the most beautiful, golden light. I knew many people who were with me, despite the fact they didn't have faces. But they did have auras. I could feel their presence and could absolutely feel their love. I greeted them and looked around in awe. I knew they were the spirit guides of the universe and I knew they created it. All of a sudden, I was angry because I felt like I had no choice being here. Then, I remembered feeling surprised, but also empowered as I started lecturing these spirit guides. Funny, in hindsight, I told them it was truly unfair to bring me into a world and subject me to such pain and trauma. I told them that I was just suddenly here and had to survive what felt like endless abuse. The spirit guides were never angry, they simply held space for me and agreed with me. This confused me. I felt exasperated at the end of my rant, expecting some explanation. Instead, they told me they understood and I could stay with them if I wanted to do so. Of course, I enthusiastically agreed to stay. I was in endless light, love, and peace that I felt so much that it was as if I would explode. They said great, but they did need to let me know what would happen if I died. In that moment, a million moments happened in seconds. I was suddenly in the fetal position with a massive sphere-like tornado all around me, full of the people in my life who loved and needed me. I saw my funeral. I saw their grief. I saw my husband finding my body and his pain. I saw the life of my daughter, who would never get to be here. And while this tornado was circling around me, it was showing me vision after vision. I looked up through it all to the guides and told them I could not stay. In that moment, I was violently thrust back into my body. When it had felt like life was in slow motion, suddenly life was going 10 million miles an hour. Back into my body and into reality. I immediately pushed up off my stomach on my arms and took a massive breath. One of the things with mushrooms, I can't really sober up. I started this journey on my back with no recollection of turning over on my stomach. When I pushed up on my arms and off my stomach, I knew I had messed up. I felt sober, which is not normal, and then immediately called my husband. I could see clearly, which is another thing that's not really possible on mushrooms. I told him I was okay, but I could not find my heartbeat. My entire body was blue. I asked him to come home. I rubbed my body vigorously and apologized profusely for what I had done. I didn't want to die. It was a terrifying feeling, knowing I had really put myself in danger. My husband came home and struggled to find my heartbeat as well. He eventually found a faint heartbeat, which was abnormal for me. I have a very strong heartbeat, easily found in many areas. After about 20 minutes, I felt safe and then my mushroom journey resumed. This was unexpected and odd. Unfortunately, it was incredibly rough and painful. There were no gentle hallucinations and feelings of love and beauty. Everything was cold, clinical and massively pixelated.
We're back. So, based on our previous episodes, we have shown you the actual elements of a near-death experience, okay? Ranging from the out-of-body experience to the feelings of love and peace and meeting these beings and things like that, and, you know, the life review and all that's entailed, even the exit, okay? So let's go right into the actual experience itself. Now, the first thing that I noticed was the actual OBE. There was the out-of-body
floating,
experience,
yeah.
and she said it was gentle, and it was her first time, and that she was confused, but it had unwillingly pulled. So, how would you tie that in with what we're learning on this episode, on all these episodes about the near-death experience, that element, and how does that tie in?
Yeah, it's that OBE, the out-of-body experience, where you're sensing and knowing that you're not in the physical form anymore.
Yes, absolutely. That was the transition. Very good. Next, she said that she was in an incredible room with no boundaries.
Yeah, like space. And I've heard several like that where it's just vast openness, but it was contained at the same time, like a room. So that's a pretty common reference for some.
Nice. Very good. Very good. Also, love and peace like never before.
Exactly, yeah. And One thing that I kind of picked up on in that section too is, they most all do experience love and peace, that feeling of being home. But I noticed in hers, she saw their auras. That's energy, for those that don't know. So the energy field, and knowing what I know of the vibrations and energy, it's us just go into that next level of life, that energy life field.
Right, absolutely. And what do you think of the next part I've got here in notes, that she felt love and a presence, and that she knew that this was her spirit guides?
Yes. From what I understand from listening to these is we all have spirit guides. Some of us listen to them and know about them. Some of us don't. But I like the way she said it in here. She said she noticed that they were the spirit guides of the universe. So like a
Exactly.
set, distinct group just for the universe. Maybe I'm wrong, but I picked up that is a
that's
certain
my understanding
group
as well,
for
yeah.
the universe.
And to go with that thought, she said that she started questioning them, and she said that at no point did they ever get angry. They never did, and that they actually understood how she felt.
Yes, and I hear in so many of these stories that there is no anger, there is no negativity on the other side. When you go through your life review, you have those negative emotions that you have to go through, and then you're past that. So past that point, there's no negativity on that side of the realm in most of the NDEs. There are those distressing ones, but the majority are the non-negativity. No negativity allowed on that side. No pain, just the love.
Absolutely, good point. Now, another point of view to kind of throw in there. This could also possibly be looked at as a hybrid as well, because when she spoke of the actual tornado vision, and she actually saw, went through all the things like her husband finding her body, and then her daughter without her mother, and then the pain and the loss. So she actually saw all that as well. So, and she said it was actually, it wasn't a good feeling, that part.
Right. So it's probably lean more toward a hybrid. But I appreciate what you just brought out, that, she saw her children. But she went on to say her unborn, not her unborn, but her children. And she didn't have children. So
really,
I picked up that was an unborn child. She said that wouldn't have came into the world had she died. So
well, that was slipped right past.
That one caught my attention because I'm a mother. So mothers tend to pick up on things like that.
Okay.
But
now when we go back and play that, listen to it. So I'm going to be listening for that part. So I hope you wasn't just hearing things.
No, I caught that one, and it was a daughter, so she got to see future event, and that's pretty cool.
Awesome. And also back in the body, said it was terrifying feeling, and so this could be, like I said again, could be a hybrid all around experience. Could be, could be looked at that, especially the NDE part of it. And that's pretty much it. I mean, what did you get from it? And we'll get your final comments, and we're going to go ahead and go jump on to the next clip.
Well, one thing I did notice in it was the time change, that structured or piece of the puzzle that many have, that time is slow or time is super fast. She had a combo of that. So, but when she was back in the body, waking up, she realized she wasn't on the trip. She was completely sober and with no heartbeat, or she couldn't find her heartbeat. It was beaten because she was alive, but they had to find her heartbeat. And then once all that was done, then she returned to her trip.
Yeah, it kicked in, so it was a rough ride. So
so I can only imagine, the frustration in that experience.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, wonderful. Let's go ahead and jump on this next clip, and then we're going to play it real quick, and we'll take it from there. Everybody, rolling.
Traveling in a Toyota pickup, I was struck from the rear by a 1974 Chevrolet Caprice Classic at 65 miles per hour. The accident had broken my seat loose and I was strapped in the seat belt. My head had been banged around, and I had numerous head injuries that resulted from being tossed around while the truck was folded up similar to an accordion. I never recovered consciousness at the scene of the accident completely because it seemed more like a dream than anything else did. Later, as I relived the experience itself, things started to make sense. However, when it happened, I experienced the feeling of total relaxation and a sort of disembodiment. I was at, for lack of a better word, a junction. I was not in human form. I was pure energy and I was drawn to a huge white and golden light that seemed to encompass the whole universe. As I was at this junction, I felt a drawing sensation that seemed to be like this. Imagine throwing an egg on your ceiling and it has a very thin strip of egg white that stretches from your ceiling to the floor. My body was the floor and the other place was the ceiling. I was connected to both. As I touched the place where I saw the other universe, it began to draw me towards it, and as it did, it was like an experience of an eye of the storm electrical device. This device has a static electric field that when you touch the glass, the static electricity is drawn to your fingers. So similarly, as the strands of electricity touched me, I felt instantly as if I knew everything, experienced the whole of creation. No heaven like what the Christian philosophy or any other religion states, no hell, just the purity of the universe as a whole. The energy there was not only human, in nature, all of the life here on earth was there that had been past and present, which to me, explained the concepts of human reproduction and the feelings that some people get about reincarnation. This was, to me, the essence of human, animal, and even plant life. I also felt I was completely pain-free. When the paramedics used the defibrillators on me, I felt the first shock as extremely mild. However, the last one, that brought me to full confused consciousness, was very painful. As the paramedics, and this is purely conjecture, applied the defibrillator to my heart, the connection between the other place and the world began to break down and I was drawn back to my own body. At first, I was angry, but then I began to understand why I came back. It was simply not my time. I had tasted death and no longer had any fear of it, but then it hit me that I should now try to experience life, which is the real mystery, as I was drawn back to my body. I began to forget all that I had experienced, and I always felt this was due to my brain not being able to handle all that I had experienced, but I did remember the fundamentals of what I had experienced. I felt that there had been an exchange of understandings that I will never forget, and what I believe in now is truth in its purest form, and universally simple. Life is the mystery and death is but a step towards another form of existence. There was only a calm that I possess now that allows me to see the world and all the life in it as a joy, not some psychic or religious phenomenon. A professor that I am now doing a contract study with says that he believes I touched the heart of creation. Maybe he's right, but for now, I feel like my life has renewed and opened perspectives that allow me to see life as a gift and a blessing. When I was later released from the hospital, a Catholic priest contacted me. I wanted an accounting of what I had experienced, and when it was not what he wanted me to tell him, he got upset and warned me not to tell other people about what had happened to me because it was against his belief of what God was. I know there is a spirit, but it's neither male nor female, it just is, and that's the simplicity of it all. He said that I just experienced loose electrical energy scrambling around my brain, and that if I prayed to God, and asked him to enter my life and show me his true purpose, that I would be saved. I told him that I felt that his religion was preaching a lie to the mass public, and that what I had experienced was the truth about life and its beginnings.
Back in the studio, you are listening to NDE World Podcast. I am your host, Ashton Lewis, and this is Daphne Lynn. Hello, Daphne.
Hello, hello, hello. So that was a really interesting one for me.
How you take the lead on that one? So,
okay,
what do you get from that?
Okay. Of course, we have our OBE, and from most OBEs that I've heard, it is pain-free. You're not experiencing any pain when you are a little conscious of that you're out of the body. There's no pain in the body. You're not feeling anything. And he went into the energy of everything. And it's that vibration, that energy. And that's what we have to realize we are. So that's why so many of these NDEs experience energy and the vastness of the whole universe.
Well, let me, before we get too far ahead of you, that's exactly the same thing I've got here, those first couple of things, but I want to back up to the first comment where this guy had mentioned numerous head injuries, with the car spinning and this and that. And he said it felt like a dream. While all this stuff was taken, he was getting pounded all in that car and thrown around. He said it felt total relaxation and disembodiment. Okay, and that's of course when he had the OBE and into the pure energy. So I've heard that in a lot of cases before that a person right before they transition over,
or have the NDE,
an NDE or death experience, that you're not really there to feel that last whatever
the pain that's associated with the physical
body and the physical. I've heard that you get detached.
Yes, exactly. I've heard that multiple times, that just before any kind of trauma hits, you are disassociated, so you're not feeling any pain.
Right.
Which is a beautiful thing. I mean, because think about the traumatic ways that people can have death and NDEs. I mean, so it's beauty on the creator's side that you really don't experience that.
Exactly. So that's awesome. Now, next we are talking about the actual the pure energy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We see that it's very common in these near-death experiences. Now, what about the white light? Okay. And then they said that when he hooked with that, he instantly knew everything. That
instant download of knowledge and all-knowing. That's, to me, that's because I've heard so many of these. I really believe that we've read in the Bible, that's that God source sending out his pieces for us to experience, and then it returns to the one. So that is, I think that's that instant download is why we're having the people are having these instant downloads, is because it's that return to the source. So the source does know everything. So I think that's why a lot of people experience that all-knowing instantly.
Right. And right after that, the next line that popped out in my head was no heaven, no hell. Did you catch that?
No religion. Yes,
no religion,
exactly.
No heaven, no hell.
No gender in the
pain-free and the light.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It didn't seem like a god or a masculine or male figure. It was neutral.
Exactly.
No gender.
No gender. Reincarnation was mentioned as well. So
pain-free. So now, what about after that? He was drawn back into the body. All you listeners out there and everyone, this is to me the best line, I think. And he said, "Death is a step to another form of existence."
Yes, I got that down too.
How cool is that expression? Let me read it again. In fact, did you get the same one?
Yes, I wrote it. Well, I didn't write it all down, but I did write down another form of existence is what life is.
Okay, no,
it just changes form.
Yeah, no, but his words were death is.
Right.
So, death is a step to another form of existence.
Like I like to say, death is that doorway to life.
Yeah, and what I've been kind of thinking and feeling lately is there's no such thing as death at all. And life is life, and you go through different forms and different modes and different changes. Just like when you're here in the physical, you start off as a sperm and then a fetus and embryo and all these kind of things, and a little baby infant and young child and young boy or girl, then teenager. And you go through all these changes, and you can look at anyone and see. You get an idea of their age, the way they look, and you get in your 50s and your 60s and 80s and 90s. Next thing you know, you're transitioning. The body's wore out. You've got to move on. So
exactly, yeah.
Now, what about the Catholic priest? Did you catch anything on the Catholic priest part of it?
Yes, of course.
Do tell.
And the priest said, "Don't tell." So let me just say, And he did go on to say because it was against the beliefs of the church.
Right.
So that right there tells you that the church is not the way. I mean, to me, that's what it was screaming.
not.
But, hey, if that church is what's leading you to your spiritual side, by all means go down that road. But for me, in my walk, I can't believe in that anymore. So it was very interesting to me that the priest actually told him, don't tell anybody.
Yeah. That's perfect. Think about this, okay? To go with that thought, okay? Now, here it is. You have this Catholic priest that's supposed to be this man of God, okay?
Exactly.
And this man actually had a real spiritual experience. He came back and told his story. Now, what he told the priest is that he saw God, and God was neither male nor female, which anybody that knows anything knows that is the truth. We believe that. We teach that here on this podcast. God is neither male nor female. It's either both or neither. It's both the masculine and the feminine, so it could be both male and female. It's not a.
I've heard both.
he,
Yes, I've heard both. That it's non-gender and as well as it is both male and female. So, and it just depends on the individual that it came from.
Right. So go ahead.
It's definitely against what the church is teaching, though.
That's the point. He came back, and when he told that Catholic priest that God neither was male nor female, the priest actually told him that he had loose electricity in his brain, and that he needed to pray to God so that he can get fixed, so that he don't die and he could be saved. Did you catch something?
Well,
did you get that?
That's just. I'm gonna leave that where it's at. I'm just leaving that one alone. Yeah, because Okay, next.
They're going to be some really great ones on this show. I can feel it. I can just feel it.
I know, yes.
Absolutely.
But I absolutely love it. I really do. Sharing these experiences with others. I mean, because the knowledge is out there, but there's so many people that really don't know about it. And even like I've seen many people asking about the movie, the After Death. Who's seen it, who hadn't seen it. It's just to bring awareness.
That's
to
all.
this.
It's just an awareness, correct?
Yes, and I love being able to share this with others because we have done a lot of research on this and have a good bit of information on it. So I love being able to share, and I can't wait to get actual caller responses.
Sounds good. Speaking of, okay, NDE.world. We want to hear your story. If you've ever had a near-death experience, if you know someone else who may have had a NDE, let us know. We'd love to hear your story. You can be a guest, and it's just a simple phone call. We'll give you a call, and you can give us a call, and we've got it set up in our email exchange. But just go to NDE.world and let us know, and we'll bring you on, and you can be a guest on our podcast. All right, so looking at the time, Miss Daphne, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap things up for this episode. And until next time, I'll be ready to do it again.
Jump back in with a boots on.
And the actual Cocoa Chat, it's mostly going to be structured like this. We'll come in and we'll do. Not necessarily we're going to have Coco every single time. It was just kind of based on the original program where we started doing that, but. All of the Cocoa Chat series are going to have us playing these experiences and us commenting on them, okay? Meanwhile, we are still gathering individuals to come in and tell their stories. So, again, contact us at NDE.world, and we'll put you on the list and bring you on. So, I'm excited. We got a lot of stuff planned for you guys.
Exactly. And like we can do, was talking about the Cocoa Chat. We also have our Coffee and Conversation. So that's going to be a little off NDE, but still related to. So we'll have these little things that you can look for: Cocoa Chat or Coffee and Conversation.
That's right. And the Coffee and Conversation is going to be more in the lines of just in general material that is definitely spiritually related, NDE related, and all that kind of stuff as well. So very good. Okay, well, until next time, I am your host, Ashton Lewis, and my lovely assistant, Miss Daphne. Until we get to join you guys again. We are so looking forward to our next meeting. We send you love, peace, and blessings. And until next time,
We love you guys. Let your light shine.